This is the regular board meeting of Tatum ISD. It is now 5:30 PM on November 8th, 2021, and we have a quorum. Mr. Skinner, will you read the pledge, and Mr. Adams, will you do the invocation?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
O most gracious, eternal, and everlasting God, and Father, we're glad that you are God and you are God alone. Lord, we just want to say thank you, O God, for this another day that you've allowed us to see, Father. We want to say thank you, O God, for your grace and your mercy. Father, we just pray, O God, that you continue to keep your hands of protection around us, Father. We pray, O God, that you would lead us, guide us, and direct us in all that we say and do, Father. We pray, O God, that all things be done in decent and order, Father. As God, these blessings of God, Son, Christ Jesus, and we pray this in all. Amen. Amen. You're seated, we have you back.
You know, I know we don't have anybody to speak, but just kind of want to, kind of keep Smith's family in thoughts and prayers. You know, Mr. Smith's been on board, 15 years, I believe, since 2006. And so, anytime like that, a person like that is going to be hard to replace. But we'll have a special election because of his unexpired term coming up and everything. But, as y'all know, he was real proud of Tatum Education Foundation, Tatum Athletic Boosters. Wish we had him as the athletic booster right now because we don't have any playoff shirts. I don't know if that's him fight or not. We learned we don't have any football playoff shirts, so we're gonna put the blame somewhere. So, but again, just keep that family in your thoughts and prayers. Oh, we need some playoff.
Don't have playoff shirts?
Yes.
Well, that would be my daughter, so don't throw her under the bus.
We need some.
We will now enter into a public hearing for the purpose of discussing the district's performance rating on the state financial accountability system. First, no action will be taken. Ms. Bob?
All right, so the first report again is just they have different things you got to pass and get a passing grade. And we've been exceeds 100% the last few years. They added some new indicators. There's 20 indicators now. There's one indicator in particular that if you don't pass it, then you cannot make above a 79, and that's what we made a 79 because we did not pass this. So now I want to explain what that is. That lack of internal controls. Now we've had this last couple of audits about the internal controls and lack of segregation of duties. Due to the fact that we're a small school, there's very few people doing a lot of things. And so I asked the auditor last year, when we got the audits out, and it's actually included in last year's audit, what do we need to do to correct this? And they gave us some things to do, one of them being Dr. Richardson signs off on every bank reconciliation. I go in the system and separate what people have access to. For instance, I don't have access to payroll. Payroll doesn't have access to accounts payable. So limited access to the software itself helps with bill control. And also journal entry. Anytime I go in and just simply make a journal entry, as opposed to just when we get some kind of cash, gate receipt, something like that, it goes to the bank. There's still bill control there. But I can go in and do a journal entry. For instance, when we wired money for a bond payment, that's not built in our system. I can go to the bank and do it. So I have to hand enter it, and that's a journal entry. And now we got two people signing off on it. And so that was the other thing that they said would help alleviate that indicator. It's unfortunate that one indicator was added this past year, but I think we're on top of it from here on out. Any questions about the first reading?
I need a motion to approve the consent items as presented, minutes of the regular board meeting of October 4th, 2021, and board goals, progress measures 1.2 and 2.2.
Mr. President, I so move.
Ms. McLean has made a motion.
I said,
Mr. Adams, second. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Next time we have Mr. Miles going to go over our district goal 4. There we go.
All right, so go for highlight just a few of the objectives. First one being budget implementation and ongoing monitoring. That's something we do monthly based on our numbers when we run reports and student attendance, which drives, a lot of the funding. We get fiscal support from Region 12, also TA, periodically puts out updated summary findings. The second one, maximize funding opportunities, in specific, my training. If you recall, a few years ago, I got the first level, I'm working on the second level, I've got 3 more classes to take to get the second level of certification from school board, business office. I maintain an adequate fund balance. I think everybody's familiar with our fund balances. Again, at 2021, and that's an estimation, and in fact, we think we estimate it's going to be a little bit more than that. But that is one of the goals, and we're maintaining that good fund balance. 4.2, provide systems to ensure facilities are clean and well maintained. So we have those safety audits every 3 years. We get expert work orders that track progress of how fast the work orders are getting done. There's utility reports that make sure that our facilities are acting efficiently, make sure we don't have an air conditioner that's running more, or a gas line, not necessarily gas line leaking, but gas usage, and also electricity usage, and all those are broken down by facility. We keep a close eye on all that. Pam sees it first, then I see it, and Dr. Richardson reviews it. There's a cost paid we like to look at, but usually it's the usage I really look at to make sure something's not, awry. I think Pam caught, water leak maybe a couple of weeks, or a month ago or so. So we got on top of that, but the bill was a little bit higher than normal. So that's our utilities spreadsheet. Also, those are recent projects you're fully aware of, the ongoing projects that we have. The LED lighting, beginning November 1st is when we can start looking at some bids and getting quotes and all that stuff. We currently have the guy that came out with all facilities that are indoor, and he's going to get all that stuff to us, what the quote's going to be, what the rebate we can get. We'll have better numbers on that in the next stuff, but we're definitely in the system last year. We missed it last year. There's only so many slots available, and we caught it late when we decided to look into it, so now we're the first one in line. And Dr. Richardson has a document that outlines the progress on each one of these projects and where they're at. Our cash flow, this is again last year's 2021 cash flow report. Dr. Richardson looks at this and looks at revenue, make sure we're on pace with revenue and expenditures, make sure there's nothing out of line, out of whack. That bottom percentage, that's an estimation on what percent of the budget that we spent, what percent of the budget from revenue did we actually get all the revenue we thought we were going to. So there's a lot of little caveats, and you see little triangles on there. Those little notes I have in there to just remind us of this is why this number's so big, this is why this number's so small. So that's just something else that guides us monthly that we can make sure we'll stay on top of things.
That's pretty much all, just finance. We meet monthly, go over all these reports, and it's kind of our checks and balances. That cash flow helps us. Also, Pam does a great job of catching the water leak, and I think we ended up finding out that wasn't on our side.
Well, we end up splitting it.
Yeah.
But some things aren't being read right correctly in the picture, so if that's kind of the on that.
Just being trench.
Yes.
Yes.
You should pick your stuff.
The lady who's taking her spot?
Kendra. Vice. She is the
Secretary of
Secretary of
the
the
middle school.
I think we all know she'll turn into the water department too.
So. Next thing you have, annual investment report.
Right, every year we have to give an annual investment report. Now, currently, we're not investing per se, but we do draw some money market interest. And right now, those are the rates that we're getting from Texas Bank. Actually, on the 22nd of October, that 0.45 on the money markets has gone up to 0.55. So that is not where it used to be. I think at the height, it was around 2.24, I believe. Obviously, since COVID, it really has dropped. And now, if you want to compare that, let's compare that 0.45, and this is tech schools, this is where your bigger schools, that might not work, yeah. So your bigger schools, they have these pools they get a part of, and their rate is currently 0.04. And so, I'm sure that they got other investments, but the main tech schools, our main big schools that kind of use tech school growth, their rates are matching, what we're getting, and that's pretty good. Not where it used to be, but we're still outperforming in new investments.
And they adjust that for us. Every month, they look at that and make that adjustment. All right, thanks, sir. Next item is to approve election of directors for Panola County Appraisal District Board of Directors. I received a call for Panola County, and I believe it was the same person that Mr. Smith had recommended in the past as well, Keith Williams. And the board can either divide up the votes or give all the votes, but I did receive a call asking for support.
I say all the votes go. I make a motion for all the votes go to Keith.
Ms. Onick has made a motion that all 42 votes will be allocated to Keith Williams for a Taylor Miles Steve. I have a second. Mr. Skinner, second. All those in favor?
Next item is same thing, Russ County Appraisal District Board of Directors. I believe in the past, it's all Mr. Smith had stated, Mr. Harkless. And again, same thing with the board. You can divide the votes up by people, or you can make one nomination for one person.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to give all the votes to Mr. Clifford Hawkins.
I second it.
All right, we have a motion to allocate 672 votes to Taylor Miles Steve for Clifford Harkless. Ms. Onick has made a motion. Ms. McLean, second. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
The next is an update 118. It's mainly changing some wording around. If y'all, we get these after every legislative. Nothing's really changed. There's been a few things added concerning the counselor that we talked about, working 80% of the time and all that. So,
Do I have a motion to approve TASB policy update 118 to legal and local policies as presented?
President, so moved.
Mr. Williams made a motion.
I second it.
Ms. McLean, seconds. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
next item is that we have is Mr. Fite's going to talk about the Tatum ISD Russ County mitigation plan.
Over about a 2-year period, when Mr. Pike at Russ County, along with some city officials, we met at the city hall and we came up with a mitigation plan. An individual was paid to, this kind of what his job was. He's stationed out in Bryan, Texas. And he went through and created a mitigation plan, number one for the Russ County itself. And then we narrowed it down to address the issues within Tatum ISD. And looking at from different things for there's different people on that committee. You're talking about like in the housing authority, people that are older trying to get like cold weather when the lights go out. You know, every so often we have a problem with ice getting generated for those people who are on oxygen machines and those things. All those type of things are talked about. Also, when moving people possibly from those areas into the indoor, having that mitigation plan in place to address in case of a dire emergency that we need to be the active on. So, Mr. Pike, along with Mr. Gibson, Chief Rain, also some people from Russ County sat in on that meeting, and we talked about and discussed what was best. Even some things that I didn't have any idea of what was being stored and brought through on some trains in Tatum and at some plant that's on 149 leaving out of Tatum, what they have there. So understanding, in case something happens, how it will affect this district and what we need to do. So this plan was put in place not only for Russ County, but this addresses our district to help address those needs in a time of a critical crisis. So, any questions or concerns or anything that someone might want to know?
All the schools are having to do this.
No questions?
I didn't realize that we had some of our schools that were actually in a flood zone.
Talking about behind us
What has that,
over here.
vulnerable to flooding, does that mean that they're in a flood
This
zone
zone right
or
here.
just portions of the campus?
Talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
Have y'all ever had water get up that
This,
high?
this is more of,
Well,
it's a
Bill,
possibility, not necessarily yet a flood zone, I was, discussing, but, I mean, it's in preparation that there's a chance, no different from, what's coming on those trains, and of course, being able to address. Just no different from our crisis management thing. One thing I've discussed with Dr. Richardson is the problem that, once again, there's one way in elementary and one way out. I think I've mentioned that before, that creates a problem. Where do we go, how do we go in and evacuate those, because that's landlocked on the backside, and there's really no road per se. If it happens right in the middle, or on one of those roads where they shut it down, or even just a regular spill or something, those kids, trying to get buses and get those kids up in the problem. So, that was kind of talked about in this meeting, those, addressing those type of things. So, still needs to be looked at, because the way it's built and where it's built, at least the rest of the campus had an opportunity. There's an escape route or a backside in that one now. So definitely in the future to continue to plan and have an idea on how to address it the best way we can.
I need a motion to approve resolution of Tatum ISD and Russ County 2021 multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan as presented.
Mr. President, so moved.
Mr. Weaver made a motion. Ms. Amos second. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Mr. Clyde?
One of, on this particular item, this was brought to our attention, and knowing this over the years, I thought it was on there, me personally, because being in a special ed background, just trying to find a special ed person is very difficult. And they have a lot more paperwork. There's a lot more legality behind when you don't do what you need to do in these areas. But these individuals, no different from in the past, we have math, we have science, and we had the HST as a part of the staff. With these individuals in the district now, they go above and beyond when you're talking about paperwork and what they're required to do. There's a need to give them a little bit more as far as what the staff cycle, because trying to find somebody, number one, who can do it, and two, to be able to keep up with the paperwork, because everybody can't do the paperwork. They might be great in the classroom, but the paperwork and all the legal framework behind it, they are not able to keep up with. So being able to reward those individuals, to give them something for compensating them for their extra work, because even on top of lesson plans, they going in and doing paperwork behind that, very more than a regular teacher. And if you're doing it right, it's a workload. And we definitely want to hire people, and we have some good ones in the district. And we've had a few where we had to let go because they couldn't do it. But those who are in our district and doing a great job, we want to compensate them for their work. Therefore, the recommendation to be able to add this particular group to hard to staff cycle to move forward.
What we'll look at in the future is across the board. Right now, this is just for 9 through 12 grade. Is what we pay hard to staff currently right now. But we're going to be looking at down the road all those and everything, because it is, he's right. There's a lot of paperwork at the middle school, elementary, primary, what's asked of these teachers. But right now, currently, hard to staff is only 9 through 12. And so we thought we had some help in high school this year, possibly even have 2 certified teachers, one to split between 2 campuses to help her in that situation.
And it didn't work out.
It didn't work out.
Finally, someone in that area.
Yeah.
You just can't find them. It's getting difficult. It's difficult to find teachers now. So when you're talking about not only a teacher, but a special ed teacher, it's difficult.
So do I have a motion to approve including the 9th through 12th grade special education teachers in the hard-to-staff stipend of $3,000 per year?
Mr. President, I so move.
Ms. McElwain made a motion. Mr. Skinner is second. All those in favor? Motion carried. The board will now convene in a closed meeting to discuss the following items posted on our agenda this evening as allowed by the Texas Government Code 551.074 personnel matters. No voting will take place in the closed meeting. Any action the board wishes to take as a result of discussions in closed session will take place after the board reconvenes in open meeting. It is now 5:52 p.m.
Thank you,
Thank y'all, appreciate it.
Thank you.